Okay, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, I see the live webinar on NGRX store in Angular.
All right, okay, so let's start. We are from Kasha Training, and Satya. As you know, I have an industry experience of more than 10 years. I have completed close to 100 applications on Mean and Merge stack. So I can say that I'm very well expert in Angular, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and every other web technologies. I started my career when there were no frameworks, so I started working from the scratch, from the raw HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then I kept on adapting to different frameworks that came into the market. All
Okay.
right.
I want to know in detail about the Angular development, including the session state management. That is why
All
I'm
right.
in for this training.
All right. Okay. So I assume that you have knowledge of TypeScript, basic knowledge of TypeScript. Is it?
Well, a little. With Angular, I am completely new. Like I said, that I know how to create a template and how to include something, but I really do not know logically why I am doing it and
Mhm.
why I have to do few things that I am doing.
Uh,
So yeah.
all right. All right. Okay. So over here, I'll give you a demonstration of NGRX store, how it works, and why do we need it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have a overall course for learning Angular from the scratch.
Yes.
And if you are going to take the course, we will also be doing a short project that will keep on covering all the concepts that we'll learn throughout the course.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we can have a small Q&A session if time permits, and you are left with some questions. We can have a Q&A session in the end. All right, so let's
Yes.
get started. Firstly,
Yeah.
this course is for any IT professional or technical consultant or anyone who's passionate about Angular. You know, fresh graduate. I will make it such a simple thing in that it can be attended by anyone. You know, it can be understood by.
Okay.
Although RX itself is a very complex thing for a beginner, but then
Mm-hmm.
I will start from very simple things and
Yes.
very clean so that any fresher can also understand. Since you are already an experienced programmer, so I hope that you will get the concepts very nicely. Okay, so in this session we will be covering what is exactly NGRX, when should we use it or when should we not use it. Okay,
Okay.
why should we use it and what are the main benefits. And
Yeah.
will be also be covering some real NGRX code. I'll be demonstrating some real NGRX code after
Mm-hmm.
this after the presentation. Huh?
Yeah.
So NGRX is the combination of two words. It is RxJS and Redux. Okay,
Yeah.
RxJS is basically a library on top of Angular that gives us some of really ready-made functions that are observables.
Yeah.
Functions that are observables that can work with observables. So have you worked with RxJS like pipe or map or something like some functions like that?
No.
Okay, no problem. And then we have Redux. Redux is basically a global state management library taken from React JS. Okay,
Yeah.
so it doesn't mean that we are including React inside Angular. It is just the concept that was initially developed in React. Now we are introducing the same concept into Angular also. Okay,
Yeah.
and why we need a global state, because global state means if you have few elements in your application or If I tell you example, let's take a very basic example. You have a room right now, physical room, and inside that
Mm-hmm.
room you have few furniture, let's say table and chairs, a
Mm-hmm.
laptop, a fan, a light bulb, and a TV, let's say. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the state of this room is, see, we will reference it as a store. Store means this room, and the state of this room is that table is kept towards the door, chair is kept after the table, and the state of the bulb is off, light is off, and
Okay.
the state of the TV is switched on. So this is the initial state. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so now this is a library which will keep these states of any application globally. Globally means any component inside the application can have to ask from this global state library that right now light is open or not, or maybe the fan is working or not. Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. And then why should we use NGRX? Because when you have a lot of data that keeps on changing lot of time, okay, so it becomes really difficult for normal application to keep track on each and every property or each and every value. Okay, so let's say if how do we consider what is the large amount of data? Suppose if you are creating a stock market website, okay, where you have to update the rates of every stock market with every stock at every second, so
Mm-hmm.
it becomes very cumbersome that all the components or every page or every component of your application has to keep track on all the values. So it becomes really very difficult. So we use NGRX for it. Okay, it is it gives you, it is beneficial because it is really good in serializability, and it is used when we have a hierarchy in the data model. So hierarchy means all the data are related to each other in a hierarchical way. Like suppose if I consider the list of employees, so the list
Mm-hmm.
of employees have their different geographical location, their different time sheet in how many hours they have worked in their previous week, or what is their status, what is their salary. So everything is related. Every data model is in hierarchy. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, and then it also gives you encapsulation because once we implement NGRX in our application, we don't have to think of the components don't have to think whether which variable or which event is changing their variable, which event is changing their variable. Suppose I have to look for suppose a component has to see what is the temperature of
Yeah.
Florida. Okay, so that component has just to just to subscribe a variable and just keep on setting lightly whenever there's a change in the variable, the subscription will tell us that this temperature has been changed. Now the component doesn't have to bother who changed this
Mm-hmm.
variable. Okay, and
Yeah.
it is testable because we have a very powerful NGRX tool, so we can easily test our application that have we really got our data from the backend or not? Are we storing its correct state or not? Or there's something wrong that sometimes we fall into the confusion that some data is not getting updated. So we have to check whether backend has really sent us the data or not, and frontend is able to store the data, or frontend did not recognize that. Okay, so it
Okay.
is easily testable. And of course performance. It will give you a very good speed in implementation as well as showing or changing the data. It gives you, once you implement this in your application, now expanding your application becomes very easy because you have a central state of data and you don't have to make new services every time for new every time you are inserting new data. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now why we use NGRX? So let's take a very basic web page over here. Okay. On the
Mm-hmm.
right side, if I tell you that this is a very basic HTML page, and
Yes.
has three different components: a header component, body component, and footer component. Okay.
Yeah.
And in the header component, it's written welcome and user's first name. Okay, Amit.
Yeah.
Okay, and now in the body, if the user opens the form, it shows you you can update your name over here. And over
Mm-hmm.
here in the name, if I write my new name over here, if I change my name, hello, and if I click on update, so
Yeah.
now header has always have to look whether the name has been changed or not. So right now body
Yes.
is changing, or maybe it can be changed from anywhere else. Maybe there is footer also in which this name is being mentioned, or this name is being used in any of the forms, maybe related to email and all. Okay.
Yeah.
So every other component right now there are only three components, but there can be 6, 7, or 8 components in a single page. So every component has to watch if somebody is really changing the name. If somebody has changed the name, they have to update. Okay.
Yeah.
So now update, if I click on update, it should immediately reflect the changes in all the other components. Okay. So how do we do this? By the help of NGRX. Did
Okay.
you did you got the intent why we need NGRX?
Yes, to keep on continuously look for if there is any state change or any updations, then we keep on observing.
Yes, every component will sit and subscribe the name variable, and as soon as there is
Yeah.
any change in the state, every component will get notified. Whosoever has subscribed. Okay.
Yes.
And now we will be going more in depth for NGRX store. So this is
Yes.
basically a flow diagram. This is basically a flow diagram of different concepts used in a store, and I'll explain you each concept in detail. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, if you have worked in a very basic Angular application, you know that there are components, right? We
True.
have
Yeah.
different components in any application. Now we have a single store in any application, a root store. Okay, and this component, are you able to see my
Yes.
mouse cursor?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. So now this component is
Yeah.
basically what it will do is it will ask from the store that I need some information. Let's say I need some information, whether let me know that if the AC is on in the room, or TV is on in the room, or fan is on, or
Yeah.
whatsoever. I need information, and just keep on sending me the information as soon as anything changes in the state. Right.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
AC switches, if AC gets off, let me know just. Okay, the components do. And what this store is? Store is just a component or just a library that holds your states.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have reducers. Okay, what reducers do is that if there is any change, if there is any action, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is any okay, action is a technical word. We'll get back to it after a few
No
minutes.
problem. Yeah.
If there is any change in its state, it has to go through the reducer. Okay,
Yeah.
nobody can change anything in the store directly. If there is any change, it has to go through the reducer. Okay, now
Yeah.
who can change the state? Okay, who can change the state. Sorry, I'll tell you, any state is a read-only object. Okay, nobody
Yeah.
can change we have to create a new state every time. We will have to destroy the old state, and we will have to
Yes.
create new. Why do we do this? I will tell you later. Okay. Now, who can create a new state? New state will be that if somebody has switched off the air condition. Okay. This is the new
Yeah.
state. Who can really do this state? Maybe some third party application can do this, or maybe the user itself can do this. Okay. If he
Okay.
switches off the button of the remote, AC gets switched off. So it can either be done from the component, that our component will have our HTML and all the controls to switch off the AC, and or maybe it can be done. It can be done by any third party. Maybe the electricity went off. So we have different third party API services which can tell us whether there's any external app for your home who has given instruction to switch off the AC. So what
Yes.
services will do? They will get the data. They will pass it on to the effects. Okay, we
Yeah.
we call it, the technical term is effect. Okay, effects analyze what data it is and what kind of action it requires with this data. Okay,
Okay.
so once it realizes what kind of actions it requires, it sends this action to the reducer, of course, with some payload, that what has really changed, what is the new value now. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's send actions to the reducers. Reducers just check what is the payload, and they create the new state based on that action, and they pass it on to the store. They store it in the store, the new state. Okay,
Yeah.
and now the same thing can be done by the component also. Suppose in the HTML, if the user does something, maybe there's a button click, and this will be immediately notified in the component function. And component function can also send an action to the reducer, that
Yeah.
user switch on the AC again. Okay, so the same thing, reducer will again going to analyze the new payload data, and will create a new state and send it to the store. Okay, wait.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then now this store. Now this was basically your component. Let's say it's a component that gives you control over all the appliances of your room.
Yeah.
Now this store can also be subscribed. Selectors of this store can also be subscribed by other components also.
Okay.
Maybe there is some reporting component which keeps on giving you the report, or maybe which keeps on generating you the report that how much electricity is being used, and it has to get the information whether light is being used or air conditioner has been used or not. Okay,
Yeah.
so the different components with the different reasons needs to get the data, so they will keep on subscribing, and they will keep on getting the notification that that data has been changed, store has been changed.
Yeah.
All right, I hope this much part is clear.
Yes. Yes, Satya. It's very clear. Yes.
All right, okay. So now the main benefit of this NGRX is that it has a centralized single source of truth. Okay, so suppose you have if you just focus on this state diagram, or maybe the hierarchical diagram over here.
Yeah.
So there is a template, and then you have few more child templates, and those child templates have more grandchild template. Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
every template, no matter in which hierarchy it is, every template has to ask about the data from the centralized global variable that is called state. It is immutable. Okay,
Yeah.
they don't have to think whether, suppose the grandchild doesn't have to think maybe the child B might have changed the data, or maybe the child A might have changed the data, and grandchild didn't got the information. It is not like that. It is the single source of truth. Maybe child B needs the data, child A needs, or A X Y Z, anyone needs the data. They just have to ask from the store that gives me the
Yeah.
state. Okay. And the next point is state is read only. That means once a state is created, it cannot be changed. Okay. Every time, if there is any change in the variables or in the environment, a new state has to be created. We cannot
Okay.
change anything. Okay. And it gives you speed up in your performance, so that your every component gets the data very easily and in a very fast manner, because it is a single connection that needs data transfer from object. Okay.
Yeah.
and then and then if there are any changes, if there are any changes in the store, that means a new state is created. It is created with pure functions. Do you know what is pure function?
No.
Okay. Well, in JavaScript, we have pure functions and impure functions. So impure functions, what impure functions do is that uh, when you give an input, if you call it for the first time, they might give some output as A. If you call that function for the second time, they might give the output as B with the same set of inputs, and it
Yeah.
depends upon the different variables outside of their scope. Okay, so they are known as impure function. I will tell you. Okay, and what are pure functions? That pure functions are those functions in which at any given time, at any time, if you provide the same input values, you will get the same output values, no matter what has been changed in the application or what external environments are. Okay.
Okay.
So I can get back to you with the pure functions and what pure functions do in the NGRX, and I can get back to you later on this.
Yeah.
So,
No
but
problem.
pure functions, basically, why changes are made with pure functions? Because they don't have any side effects of the outside environment. They cannot change anything outside of their environment. Okay, so that
Okay.
is why they are pure functions. Okay, and impure
Side
functions
effect.
can,
Sorry.
yeah.
Side effect. Because we already seen in the architecture there is an effect. Do you mean that side effect is something like if I'm changing something, for example, a API call or something like that? For example, when an action is dispatched.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when an action is dispatched, and then if there is an effect, for example, a to service call or something like that, that is an effect.
Yes. Yes.
And then the side effect means what? I'm confused.
Okay. Side effect means it is changing some variable at the component level itself.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So changes functions which are employed over here are always pure functions. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So this was so this was basically few of the benefits of NGRX. And then if we'll start with the course, can we can analyze more what are the more benefits, small benefits over other things. Why are we using NGRX and not services? Okay.
Yeah.
And now I will be telling you. I'll explain you how to use a Redux, NGRX Redux. Okay, how do we use it in our application? First, I will give you some graphical interpretation, and then we will
Yeah.
move to code. Actually,
Yes.
okay. So as I told you, as I've already explained you that there are few terminologies in Redux.
Yeah.
The main part of this Redux is action, okay, actions, state, and reducer.
Yeah.
Okay. Action, basically, action means from the name itself, we get to know that something is going to change, okay, or maybe somebody is requesting some change, okay. So action can be done from the outside world, maybe from the backend side, or maybe from the third party APIs, or maybe from the user itself, from the app itself. If there's some action means show me some data, change some data, get some data, delete some data. So that is action. And the state
Yeah.
is your state, the global object that contains all the values that you have to use and show in your application. That is state. And reducer is basically uh, reducer is basically a class that takes the action and checks what new state should be, creates the new state and sends it to the store. Okay. So now coming to the state over here, let's take a very simple. We can go to much complex things. Okay, but in the starting we'll take very simple things. I'm sure you might have seen some loading signs. If if you load something and it takes time to load, or if there's some processing in the background, so you get a GIF that keeps on rolling. So that is a loading sign. Correct?
Yes.
So let's create a state in which we have load variable called loading, okay, property called loading, and by default
Yeah.
it is kept as false. Okay. Now if I want to do some calculations, do some changes in my app, a user wants to do some changes in the app, what it will do is it is going to change the state from loading false to loading true. Okay, maybe it is updating the password. Okay, it takes some time, but it sends the value to the server, verifies it, and get back the value. So it might take few seconds. So we'll be having a variable in our will be subscribe the component will be subscribing the variable loading from the state store, and if it is false, it is not going to show you the loading sign, and if it is true, it is going to show you the loading sign. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we can say is it is a kind of global variable. Although it is a property of the store, it is property of the state, but it is a kind of global variable. Okay, so all the components will keep on listening this loading sign. Okay, will subscribe this, and as soon as this becomes true,
Yes.
okay, they can behave according to the requirement that now it is loading something, so they have to stop their functionality for some time. Okay, so as it is, as I have mentioned, that component will subscribe to these values of the state. Okay.
Yeah.
And any kind of action taken by the user, if the user clicks some button, it is going to show you the loading sign. Uh, if the user changes its display pic, uploads some file or uploads some image, it might show you some loading sign. So we have to turn loading true. We have to turn loading false once the process gets completed. Okay. So
Yes.
we are considering loading as a global variable that every component has to listen. Now,
Okay.
as soon as now let's consider the very first phase. As soon as user wants to change anything in his app, component is going to dispatch a action. Okay,
Yeah.
like loading. So the action can be that loading updated. Action may also contain some value which can be payload, that the new name is Amit, let's say.
Okay.
So that payload can be the value of that new name, but in our case we have to just we have to just we have to just tell the store that we are updating the loading variable, so we will call the action its name is loading updated, and we may pass it its value as true. Okay, so now what reducer will do? Reducer will get this action. Okay, and the reducer will get that action. Okay, and will get that state. Okay, it also has the initial state. The initial state was loading was false. Okay, now
Yeah.
it gets the action of loading updated. So now what it has to do? It has to put the loading to true, loading property in the state. So now it will do is it will create on the third part, it will create the new state. Okay, and that state will contain loading true. Cool. Did you understood this much flow?
Yes, the payload I understand, and then reducer I understand. But I think I'm following you, Satya. I think I'm getting an idea. Maybe when we do a small example, then I think I will be more
All
clear.
right.
Now, but for now, I'm very happy that I can follow you.
All right. Okay. Okay. The last part I'll iterate again. I'll explain you again the last part. The
Yeah.
reducer has the initial state. The initial state tells reducer that loading is false right now.
Yes.
Okay. Now it has got the action also loading updated. It has got the action also. Okay.
Yes.
So earlier the earlier state was this loading was false. Okay.
Yes.
Now it has got the action loading updated. So now what
Yes.
reducer will do? It has to process this action. After processing this action, it will create a new state over here.
Yeah.
And what will be the new state? The new state is loading true
Yes.
because it has processed the action now. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is the new state. Okay. Now if I now what will happen now since the new state has been since the new state has been created over here. Okay, it has to destroy the old state. So can you see the red cross over here?
Yes.
Okay, so as soon as the new state has been created, old state is to be destroyed now. Okay. Now you may have the question that why are we destroying the old state? Why can't we just update the old state? Well, I have mentioned the reason, but I will tell you because Angular has to compare the new state and the old state, and it has to check what properties have been changed now. Okay,
Okay.
right now it has only one property loading. Right now it has only one property loading. But in actual application, in the real world, there can be hundreds or thousands of properties in an application. Okay, so
Yeah.
Angular has to check which properties have been changed, and accordingly, it has to notify to all the subscribers. Okay, so
Yeah.
what store will do is it will just it will just check what all values have been changed. Okay, in our case right now it is loading, but suppose if there are 4 or 5 values loading, first name, last name, email and address. Suppose these 4 5 more values are there.
Yes.
There are different components who have subscribed different values from the store. Maybe 2 of the components have subscribed for the loading, 3 of the components have subscribed for the name, and 2 of the components have subscribed for the address. Okay, change in the address. So store has to see to whom it needs to emit the change method. Okay, it
Yeah.
can't suppose there are 7 subscribers of all the properties. It can't send emit signal to all the 7 subscribers. It has to check which subscriber has actually subscribed loading. So only those subscribers will get the notification who have subscribed loading.
Yeah.
Did you got my point?
Yes.
Or maybe there is some other action who has that action has changed the name, but loading is not changed. So maybe we have the component name is A. So component name A subscribed to loading but did not subscribe to first name or last name. So it will not get the notification change notification of variable store change. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is how actually NGRX works. Okay, it will keep on emitting the value to the subscribers as soon as the value gets changed in the store.
Yeah.
Unclear. Okay.
Okay. So it's about the state. I mean, yeah, I understood. Yes.
Okay. All right. So now how other people will benefit from how others other components will benefit from it. As I mentioned earlier, suppose there are two components, component A and component B,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the state of the loading was false, and these both components have subscribed the loading property from the store. So they will get the notification that loading change action has been dispatched, and now the new state is loading true. So these two components will get the notification,
Yeah.
and they can work according to their own functionality, which depends upon their loading variable. All right.
Yeah.
I hope this was a very simple example, right?
I'm sorry.
Did you understood the example?
I mean, the other components that they can also subscribe to this state. That's what you were saying. But I was thinking, what if, for example, when there is a side effect, would also they affect component A and component B?
Uh, what kind of side effect do you mean?
For example, now component A and component B are already subscribed to this state. Yeah. But
Yes.
sometimes the few minutes ago we were thinking that there could be a side effect as well sometimes if you do something with an action or something.
No. What I was telling was that since we use pure functions in NGRX, so there will be no side effects.
Okay. So now the component A and component B can also subscribe, and then they can change their own states as well when there is something state is changing.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the presentation, I told you that we need in the presentation over here. I told you that why do we need NGRX? So the example was that there are various components and they need to listen to the changes, and there will be a store in the application in the front end itself that will
Yeah.
keep on storing data. And now I will give you a live example, okay, that most of us use it. So if I just go to Google News, let's say Google News, okay. I will tell you what will be the benefit of using NGRX. Since I
Yeah.
have already told you that there's a store, and this store is being made on the front end, on the client side, correct?
Yes.
Do you agree with me? All right. So now Suppose if I click on this, if I
Yeah.
click on this country, India. So
Yeah.
Google is going. Right now, I haven't clicked. I will click you. I will click over here and then I'll show you. So as soon as
Yeah.
I'm going to click over here, Google is going to make some uh, API calls in the backend and get me the news relevant to India. Okay.
Yes.
So, but then you might see some time to load the data. Okay. As soon now I have clicked, so it is taking
Yes.
some time. It is loading the data.
Yeah.
It is going to show me the data after, let's say, 1, 2, or 3 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is now it is going to show me the data according to India. Now, if I
Yes.
want to see the world news, okay, I
Yeah.
already have the data. I already have the data of the India. Okay. Now, if I click on the world news, my application is again going to load the data from the backend with the news related to the complete world. So now you can see that it took some time to
Yes.
load, or maybe if I click on entertainment, or let's say on the technology, so it is taking some time, and it after a few seconds it is going to show me the technology data. But now what will happen if I click again on India? In a
Yeah.
normal application in which we don't have any store Redux, okay, it
Yeah.
is again to fetch data from the backend, get the data from the backend from the API, and it is going to show me. But over here, if I click over here in the India,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so did you saw any change? Did you notice any change?
No, because I think it's already in the state, I mean in the store, so it's now easily available.
Correct. Okay, you got it right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what happened is that the store of this Google News already has data for the India. So if the
Yes.
user has click the tab of India again, it is not going to call the APIs and get the data again. So what it will suppose if there's a user which will keep on changing the tabs like India, world, India, so it might make the application very heavy, and it will also uh, make a burden to the backend server also. That same data is being called again and again. Okay. So
Yes.
what this store does is it will keep on storing the data, and as soon as you will click on the tab technology, it is not going to show you the data. It is not going to load the data again. It is showing you from the store. Now the question can be that what if we are seeing the technology data right now, and what if something has been changed in the world? Okay. So for that we have other functions, we have other techniques to keep a watch. We have other WebSocket connections and other APIs that will let us know that if something has been changed in the world, and we already have the world data in our store. So we need to update that. Okay. For that we have effects. Okay.
Yeah.
uh, that is the same effect that I have shown you in the block diagram. For that we for
Okay.
that we, we make effects that create or subscribe to certain services from the backend, and they will keep on sending me data if something has been changed. But we don't have to keep on every time refreshing the data on every click. Okay.
Yeah.
So this was. So this was a very, very valid and live example of Redux. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we'll be moving towards the code and
Yeah.
application that I was building for one of our clients. So I'll be showing you what we'll be taking a very small part or a very small component from that very big application. Okay.
Yeah.
Before moving to that section, do you have any question right now, or is there anything that you haven't understood?
Well, I think so far it's very clear, Satya. I think I'm happy.
Okay, all right. So now I am going to show you app, and and I'll make you walk through its code. I can also code right now in front of you and give you the knowledge from the scratch, but our time doesn't permit us to write every action reducer from the scratch. Okay, so
Yeah.
I will show you the app and I will make you walk through the code of that app with its
Yes.
action reducer store. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, are you able to see the browser?
Yes, I see.
Okay. So, this is the app that is related to some hardware,
Yeah.
and this is its network configuration page. This is a single page application done in Angular 10. It is being made in Angular 10. Right?
I already on Angular 10. Oh,
Pardon?
no, no. I am already thinking already there is Angular 10.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, I think it's continuously evolving so fast, no? From Angular 2 to Angular 10, it took very less years and it.
Yes, yeah, if I remember, Angular 7 was released in October 2018. So
Yeah.
it's been, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So now if you just have a plain look on this application, this web page, so I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you there are more than 10 components that are visible right now over here. Okay. The first
Yeah.
is your the first is your menu component over here. Okay.
Yes. The header. Yeah. Configuration. Yeah.
And then you have another user menu over here. That is
Yes.
another you have the component over here that is a left menu. Okay,
Yeah.
network configuration, manage users, manage pin codes, SNMP, multi-projectors.
Yeah.
And then we have a small components over here that shows us whether light is on or off, or
Yeah.
maybe some other services are door is open or off. Okay, and
Yeah.
then we have another component, the footer itself, that shows us some of the warnings, cautions, and notifications.
Yeah.
Right. So there are different components visible at the same time. I think more than six, seven, or eight maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we will take a very small part. We will start from a very small part. Let's consider uh, host name. Okay,
Yes.
this is the host name. Okay,
Yeah.
host is basically from the network terminology. It is the name that can be uh, that can be recognized by the normal human beings, because we cannot keep on memorizing the IP of every
Yeah.
hardware or every system. So this is the host name that we keep it for this particular IP. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have few buttons, and this buttons are right now disabled, but that is the part of our Angular material and the core Angular. Now I
Mm-hmm.
am going to tell you that how a store is working, how we create its reducers, how we create its actions, and how does its component.ts file
Yeah.
uh, consumes this data. Okay. All right. So this is basically the look and feel of the application. Now, if I go to the code, okay, we will start from the HTML itself. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's suppose this is a component. Component name is DC network configuration component. Okay, and we
Mm-hmm.
pass it the value of the host name right now. Okay, what is the current value? What is the current value of the host name? And if anything has been changed, okay, so this uh, this method is going to be called. Okay, if there's any change in the host name, so what it is going to call, it is going to call the function sandbox.hostname, change hostname, and we will pass event to it. Okay, this event will contain different properties, and it will also contain the new value of the hostname.
Yes.
Okay, this kind of code looks familiar to you, or it is too much right now?
I think I can understand what you are telling me, but it's okay. I mean, I can observe. It doesn't scare me. No problem.
Okay, yes. That's a good spirit, because there are various other elements, so you can see various other things. Okay,
Yeah.
but then we are just concentrating on the host name. Once we are able to conquer the changes and the changes in the techniques happening in the host name, we can understand the complete application accordingly.
Okay.
Okay. So right now we have to just focus on the host name. So this binding tells us what is the current value of the host name. Okay, and this binding is the function call. So if there's any change in the host name, this function is going to get called. Okay, and there's some object sandbox. We will come back
Yeah.
to the sandbox. Since you are from the Java background, so I assume you know very
There's
well
a
what
test.
sandbox.
Yeah, the test. Yeah.
All right. So there's an object called sandbox, and it has a function change host name, which will accept parameters as the event,
Yeah.
and that will contain various other parameters like was there a mouse click, or was there a button click, and what is the new value of the input and all. All right.
Yeah.
Now we will get to its component. Okay, component of that HTML template.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the component. Now, if you remember, we were using sandbox object. Okay, so if I write sandbox, okay, so what we are doing is that we in the constructor we are making a public property sandbox in
Mm-hmm.
which we are assigning network configuration sandbox. Okay,
Yeah.
and where is this actually? Oops. Where is this file actually kept? It is kept inside a folder parallel to it, and its name is sandbox, network configuration sandbox. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, now this is the actual network configuration sandbox. Okay. And over here, the actual work of the store, reducer, and actions starts from here. Okay. From
Yeah.
the sandbox is the entity over here, which will select a store. Okay, and will select the selectors. I will come back to what is selectors. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. No
and then
problem. Yeah.
it will it can connect with the component to tell whether some value has been changed or not, or if there is some event to change the host name, so it can dispatch the action from. Okay,
Yeah.
so now if I go on to this function change host name, and we have the sandbox, and if I just search it over here, so this function is going to call as soon as we press the change button after changing the host. So it will take the
Yeah.
host name as a parameter, and it is going to dispatch the action to the store.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and what will be the action? Action is network actions dot change hostname action. All right, I'll get back to you on this later.
No
Okay.
problem. Yeah.
Now let's start from the actions. What kind of actions we can have for this particular hostname? Okay. So if I just open network actions, we'll start from network actions. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I will show you network reducer, and then we'll again come back to the sandbox that how it is using actions. Okay.
Yeah.
So now what we'll do is I would have told you, I would have shown you everything from the starting, like importing actions and then some enums and all. But then that is going to, we will run really short of time. Okay.
No problem.
So,
I mean, it's okay.
so in the actions, we basically define the list of actions that we have to do for a particular application. Okay, so what actions can be there? That this is an action name change host name action, in which
Yeah,
we are going to change the host name, and
yeah,
this is the host name. Okay, this is change and this is the host name. So this action is going to get us the host name from the backend. Okay.
yeah.
All right, and then there are other actions that are not relevant right now because this application works with WebSocket connections. To it has to continuously check whether whether something has been changed in the WebSocket object or not. So it is not relevant right now. So the
Okay.
most relevant, the most relevant and the most the where we should focus right now is change hostname action. Okay,
Yeah,
now after defining all the actions over here, we have to create an action creator abstract class. Okay,
yeah.
this, this has to be created for each and every module of your application. You can have a single application action creator for your complete application, but that will not be a cleaner way to do that. The cleaner way to
Okay.
do it, that you should create action creator for every of your module. So right now we are in network module. So I have created a action creator for network module. Okay. What it is going to do is it has a function get action. It is going to get the actions. Okay. And
Yeah,
it will which kind of which action do we want. Okay, so if it is a hostname action, in our case, yes, it is a hostname action. It is going to return us the hostname with a payload. Payload
yeah,
is actual value of the hostname. All right,
yeah,
and then there's spec model updated reset. We can forget about this. Okay, and in the end we have to return this action from this function. Okay, so this
yeah.
is get action function. Okay, I'll show you where we calling this get action. Okay, now right
Okay.
now we are exporting a type. It's known as actions, and we have different actions for this action creator. Okay,
Yeah,
all right, and then like we have network, we have various other modules. Let's say input, IoT, Internet of Things, lens, licensing, or link services, macros, media player. Okay, so for
yeah,
every other module, we have created different actions for it. Okay, now for all these modular actions, we have a common action creator for them. Okay, are you able to understand? Like we have different modules. For every modules, we have created actions. Now
yeah.
these actions are to be used by their common action creator that is kept just on top of them. Uh,
Yeah,
Okay,
okay. It's like a base.
correct.
Okay.
So now you can see there's another action creator.
Yeah,
Okay, it is going to see action for set. Over here we are going to uh, find the object name. Object name can be, there are different things that can be light sources, that can be electricity, or that can be uh, network or any other thing. So right now we are concerned with network. So what we have done is over here we have imported all the action creators into this file and we have renamed it. So we are importing action creators from different files, but in our case we are concentrating on network and network. Okay, so here is our example where we were concentrating. Okay, So now, if you that we have imported network action creator that I have shown you in our previous file. We are importing action creator and its new name over here, its alias name will be network action creator. Okay.
Okay.
Now we'll check what actions a user has called throughout the application, and it is going to check if it is a
Yeah.
network. It is going to get the network action creator, and it will going to get the name of that action, its payload, and its result type.
Okay.
Okay. For now, this seems to be too much, but trust me, slowly you will get familiarized with this, and you will start liking this kind of pattern of creating NGRX. Once you
Uh,
get NGRX and
yeah,
you
yeah, I understand. I mean, initially it looks, of course, initially for, I mean, if you're really new, it looks like, oh God, it's too much. But once we start coding from the scratch, then it makes more sense. But for
yeah.
me, it's nice. But for me, it's nice to have a little demo like this, because then I know, okay, this is that, this is that.
Okay. All right. Now this was the part of the action. Okay, that's it. Nothing more right now.
Yeah.
Now we will go to the reducer. Okay. Now
Yeah.
I will let you know how this action is working and how that reducer is working. Now
Yeah.
we'll quickly move to reducer, and we will open the network reducer. So this is the network reducer. Okay, in the network
Yeah.
reducer, what we will do, we have created some interfaces. Okay, and then we have created a state. Okay, it is the state of
Yeah.
the network. Understand that there can be many states depending upon the type of application. If the application is big, we can have many states that can be stored in a single store. Okay, so this is the network state, and initially when we start our application, there will be an initial state. Okay, when
Yeah.
we don't have any from the backend or from the front end, we have to create a default initial state. It is very similar to the variable that we initialize in our component itself. It is very simple, very similar in that example.
Okay.
Or should I tell you, should I show you the component again? Suppose if I, if this is the component, okay, this is that main component of that HTML. Now, if we have the host name string, its data type is string, and what if we write? If we write the host name is just demo, okay. So
Yeah.
this thing that we are assigning some default value to it right now as soon as we initialize it, okay. So
Yeah.
this is the same thing that we are doing in our reducer. Okay, we are creating an initial state. Initial state means we are creating a data structure that can have all the different kind of values that a store can have, that an application can use. So initial state for your, that if suppose if I take the example of yours, the initial state for the room can be uh, the initial state for the room can be uh, like there can be a fan. It
Yeah.
is its value by default, its value is off.
Off.
Okay,
Yeah.
can be AC. By default, its value is off. Okay,
Yeah.
there can be door. By default, its value is open. Okay, door is
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Now, as soon as the application loads, we will make some API calls, and we will get the data from the actual server, and then we
Yeah.
can update. Then we can make a new state with the new values. Like then we got to know that fan was on and the AC was off, but the door was closed. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Uh,
so right now,
but But sorry, Satya. But so that kind of a form is called a reactive form, no? I mean, if we are loading the form from the backend.
Yes.
Okay.
In to some extent, you are correct. Yeah. Hmm. All right. So now, so now we have to, right now we have to concentrate on a very small thing. So we have to concentrate on the host name, right? Okay. So
Yes.
by default, or for the initial state, we are keeping host name as empty. Okay.
Yep.
Host name is empty, and then we are writing the main function of that reducer. Its function name is reducer, and it takes some parameters. The parameters are fixed. Like the first parameter will be its state. Okay, and if we don't pass its state, it will take the initial state. Okay, by
Yep.
default, and then we have to pass its action. Remember, I have shown you the diagram,
Yes. Yes.
right? That action is being passed to the reducer. The reducer takes the action, okay, and data type can be, I mean the action can be, it is the enum of actions, available list of actions. So you can see the change of
Yeah.
host name action.
Yeah.
Okay. And what it is going to return, it is going to return you the new state, the new network state.
Yeah.
Correct? Now let's get inside to this function quickly. This we'll be creating, most of the time we'll be creating the switch case because there are different actions, and for every action we have to return the data differently depending upon what action is being called. So
Yeah.
if somebody wants to know the host name, somebody wants to know the host name. So what it is going to return? It is going to return you the new network state, but the new network state, what it will be? It will be the state that we are getting over here. Spread operator. Do you know what is spread operator?
No.
Okay, spread operator is another concept. It is basically, suppose if you have an array, let's say array has the value
Ah, the array of
A1,
states. Yes.
array of
Dot
the
dot
states.
dot.
Okay,
Yeah. Dot dot dot
right.
is yeah the array sorry, I forgot. In Java 8 also we have the same. Like if you have an array
Uh,
like dot 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 and then we give it. Yeah.
right. Okay. Right, and now so it returns you the state, okay, separated by comma, okay, and it will also return you the network data state. Network, what it is going to get, network data state will have the host name will have the payload, and since we are getting this hosting from the backend API, okay, right now. So what
Yeah.
it is going to have, it is going to get the result of the payload. We have the result property of the final payload that we get, okay, and we set its value to the host name.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay too much heed to this statement, because too much heed to this JSON.parse, because this is how we have designed data transfer for this particular application. You might
Okay.
have different data format for your own application. So you don't have to pay this much heed why we are doing JSON.parse. It's not relevant right now. You just
No,
have to
no.
see
Okay.
we are setting some property to the host name and we are returning its state, network state.
Yeah.
Okay, this was the role of the reducer. Now all the reducers of all the applications will have the index.ts, and over here, if I tell you that no, I'm wrong. It is only the reducer over here. Okay, I got confused with actions. Okay, so this is the network reducer over here. Okay,
Okay.
now coming back to our sandbox. Okay, now if somebody wants to get the host name, okay,
Yeah.
so it doesn't have to contact actions, it doesn't have to contact reducer file, it has to contact sandbox class, okay, and host name. Okay, so what Sandbox will do is it is going to first select the store dot. There's a function. See, we have a store from here. We import it from store and action. We import it from NGRX store like
Yeah.
this. Okay, and then we have some observable functions from RxJS. Okay,
Yeah.
we have tap and take until. All right. So there are many other concepts, and honestly, 1 hour or 1.5 hours or 2 hours is really very less to explain you everything
Yeah,
like
no problem,
RxJS.
Satya. I mean, we can just go on with the
So,
real.
so we will keep on focusing only to the host name thing, okay? Right? So
Yeah.
how our host name is changed, we will quickly wrap up the discussion. So now
Yeah.
store, we have to first of all, any sandbox, any component has to select a particular store. Okay, so we will store dot select. Okay, so over here you can see that there are various stores that this sandbox is selecting. So we have to find out where it is selecting our store. Our store means the store in which we are focusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now if you see this line number 130, okay, so we are creating a variable host name, okay, and we are assigning to it with the store dot select. We are selecting. Oops, we are selecting. Let me close this. We are selecting the store, and the name of that store is host name selector. Host
Yeah.
name selector. What is the name? Host name selector. So now how did we got this? Okay, host name selector. Host name selector over here is mentioned in the index.ts file that is kept parallel to network reducer. I told you network reducer a few minutes back. I explained you
Yes.
network
Yeah.
reducer over here. So this is the index.ts file that is kept in parallel to network reducer, and we have created the selector for this particular store. So this is
Yeah.
network feature selector. Okay, just focus on this line right now because you
Yeah.
might get confused if you see all the other things. Okay, so so we have created a selector over here, network feature selector, and then we have a callback function. What it does is that as soon as we get any state, it is going to return the host name of that state. So we got the complete state over here. And do you know about this arrow function?
What?
Do,
I'm
do you
sorry.
know? Do you know this is a hello?
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So do you know this is an arrow function in TypeScript? Do you know about this arrow functions?
The arrow function, I mean, it normally loads the right-hand side assignment to the state, or no? But I really don't know, Satya. I have to
Mm,
admit. I will admit. I'm
all right,
sorry.
all right. All right. No problem, no problem. Just consider it as a function. Okay, this is the function parameter, and this is the return value of that function. Okay.
State is a
For
function, you mean?
now, no, this complete line is a function.
Ah, okay.
Whatever is
It's okay.
okay, and state is the parameter of that function. Parameter passed to that function.
O- Okay, okay. We are passing state to this complete function name, like state.network dot to this function name. We are passing the parameter state.
Right. Whatever we write over here just before the arrow, it is considered as a parameter of that function. Okay.
Okay.
You can call it as an anonymous function. This function has no name. Okay.
Okay.
So
Anonymous
does
function.
the
Yeah.
function and whatever is written on the right side, this is the written value of that function. Okay.
Okay.
What is going to return? So this function. So create selector. Okay, this is a
Yeah.
create selector. As soon as we will assign to it, we will get the state, we will get the complete state of the network, okay,
Yeah.
and we are concerned with host name of that state. Okay, so
Yes.
what it will do is this is the arrow function which will take state as the parameter and return you state.network.network data state.host name. So it will return you the exact host name from the complete
Yes.
state.
Yeah.
All right. So this
Yep.
is this is how a host name selector is being made. We have a create selector method. Okay.
Yes.
We have a create selector. I will tell you. This create selector is the library function. Okay.
Yeah.
Of your NGRX. If I just tell you create selector, so see this is being imported from the store. Create feature
Yeah.
selector is the selector created for the feature, and create selector is the selector created for selecting any particular select, any
Yeah.
particular store. Okay, so
Yes.
this is the function that will create a selector for you. Selector is basically uh, how will I tell you? Selector is something from which you can select. Okay, right
Yeah. Yeah.
now you
I understand. For example, like we have selectors in HTML. Can I relate to that or no?
yes, like for ID you have to write hash and then ID name, and then
Yeah.
for the class you have to write then the class name.
Yeah.
Correct. So, okay, so this is the host name selector. Now we will come back to our sandbox. Okay, so naming component.
Why
Okay,
we
so
are
this was the
always
sandbox.
going? Why we are always going to the sandbox? Is it a mandatory or it just for our
No.
reference?
No, this is the design. This is how this application has been designed.
I
Okay,
mean,
we
like
have
it's a complete store where the sandbox is a main store where we are maintaining the state, right?
no. We are where we are maintaining the state. No, basically reducer maintains the state.
Okay. And
So
sandbox is some kind of a API call or
yes, correct. Sandbox is a class which contains all the valid functions that can be used to get and set the data, either from the back end or either from the front end.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now if I just tell you so we were in this line. So it is now selecting the store over here. This dot store dot select. Okay. It is going to select the host name. We have passed the host name selector over here. So this is host name. Okay. Now if
Yeah.
somebody wants to get this host name, what it will do is okay, now if I want to get the data, so what I can do is I'll quickly tell you that this is the ng oriented function. This dot sandbox, okay, dot
Yeah.
host name, okay, dot
Yeah.
what we can do is we can host name dot subscribe. Okay, we can write like this. Okay, and we can get the data host name as uh, we will get the host. Let's see, this is a function fun function. Okay, and we will get if there is any change in the host
Yeah.
name. We have subscribed to the host name right now, and
Yes.
this function is get called. Okay, and console.log. Okay, and we can
Yeah.
print over here. Okay, so this
Yeah.
is going to print the host name. Okay, uh, like this. Okay,
Yeah.
so as soon as any API, any backend API changes the host name in the store, we will get the notification of the subscribe from here, and it can we can work accordingly. So it can print the host name. But why we are printing it right now over here? Because in our case, in my case, HTML was directly using sandbox.hostname over here. Okay,
Okay.
so that's the reason that I didn't. So that's the reason I didn't written it on the component. But if I really want to, get the value. Mhm. If I really want to get the value of the host name, I can get
Yeah.
it printed in my component and I can work accordingly. Okay. So
Yeah.
now this is how I've changed. If I let me just try, and I'll quickly show you. I'll quickly show you. I'll quickly show you something. Uh, 1 second.
Yeah. No
Okay.
problem.
Okay. So now if I quickly show you. If I refresh the page, mouse control. Okay. So as soon as we'll get the values from the backend API, it is going to print the host name over here. So I will just
Yeah.
filter out the data host. Okay, I have to right now it hasn't print the host name because right now that store doesn't get contains any value in the host name. But since this Angular application has also the feature of lazy loading, so that
Yeah.
component is not being loaded right now. So that's the reason we don't have host name. But as soon as we'll go to network configuration,
Yeah.
okay, and so see we got the host name over here component.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And
Yes.
then we also for testing the application, we also have a very powerful tool for the Redux.
Yeah.
This
Redux
we
DevTools. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Redux
I have
development,
it.
and we you have it.
Yes, in my browser. I was just curious to learn about what is Redux. Then I integrated in my browser.
All right. So this contains all the data, all the states, okay, and all the
Yeah.
differences that are being made, okay, and it has a timeline also that what changed when, okay. So if I
Yeah.
over here in the store tree, if I go to say network over here, we were working on the network. So if I just expand this network, so we have network devices, network device UI, and we have network. Inside network, we have hosting. So see, we have the value of hosting over here.
Yeah.
So this is also a very powerful tool to debug your application and debug your Redux and all other things uh,
Yes.
in GRX. So I think this was enough for today as a demo.
Yes. I think
And
thank you for your time, Satya. I mean, you took a really very nice time to complete the flow.
yes, okay.
Uh,
So now
yeah.
that is all I can share with you right now, and you can tell your feedback later on, and you can let Ashish or no. From you can let the contact person know what you think about it.
No problem, Satya. Thank you so much, and I'm so happy that I took a demo from you. Really,
All right, all
I'm
right.
I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm very I'm very impressed with your. Uh, Really, it's amazing. Thank you, Satya.